because this would accelerate the conversation across Eastern Canada about, maybe we should have built pipelines. Maybe we shouldn't have one customer.
Now they're finally talking about it, but it's I just saw, actually, it might have even been just today, Jonathan, Wilkinson, the energy minister, now he's talking about, geez, maybe we need to revisit. These guys have been shutting pipelines down ever since they got into power.
Yeah. No, and it's whether it's Northern Gateway, the problems with Coastal GasLink, the 9 LNG projects that were on the books.
Yeah.
There were many private companies that wanted to come and put money into this country, and our regulatory compliance issues and all of the environmental assessments and the 10 years of garbage that you got to go through, they can't get a project built fast enough. So they take that money, those companies take that money, and they go to other jurisdictions in the world. They can put their money anywhere, and they go to where it's welcomed. And so I'm hoping the conversation turns to where the Ontario government says, and this is what I think that the Ontario government should be lobbied by the Alberta government to build that pipeline to the border of Ontario and Quebec.
Yeah.
And stop it there. And stop it. Because I'll tell you, Quebec is not going to,
well,
they're eventually going to eventually say, we want to get some of that pipeline.
Yeah, why don't we have a piece of it?
Why don't we tie into that sucker? So let's build it all the way to Ontario.
That whole thing in Quebec makes me shake my head, because Legault is always saying it's not socially acceptable. And yet, in Quebec, but to have a pipeline pass through, and yet polling of all the people there, it's not the people, they don't care. They were like 70% of the people said, yeah, sure, do it. Run a pipeline through. There's no issues with having.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's really speaking on behalf of his people. I haven't seen that poll, but again, I think the ideology, if you look at who has really curbed all of this stuff, talking to people that are, like I said, way smarter than I am, that understand the global dynamics of this, like our resources in the ground is, if the U.S. is buying 4 million barrels a day, keeping our resources in the ground or only allowing us to produce 4 million barrels a day secures their future prosperity, because we're so close.
Yeah.
So is this somehow, with everything that's coming out with the USAID funding and everything that's happening in the States that's being uncovered about waste of money and money going to ENGOs and other non-governmental organizations, is that money funneling its way back into political action committees in Canada that are lobbying our Canadian government to stop the building of pipelines? We know that happens.
Was that Vivian Krause?
Vivian Krause,
She was one of the first.
She's found all that.
Exposers.
Yeah.